Let's transfer these plant cuttings from water to soil. I get a lot of questions about this process and it's not as tricky as you may think. As a general rule, you want to wait until your roots are at least 2 inches long before transferring them to soil. I like to let mine grow longer and ensure that I have first and secondary roots on my plants. As with all my indoor houseplants, I have a nursery pot inside a decorative pot. This is to make sure that there is plenty of drainage and also makes it easier to water and size up when the time comes. You want to add some soil to the bottom of your planter and then place your plant inside. You want to make sure that it is fairly snug, as too much soil can cause issues. Once you're happy with how your cuttings are sitting, you can add more soil around the sides and to the top. Make sure you tap the sides of your planter so there is no empty air pockets. Now this step is optional, but I like to add a little slow release fertilizer at this point. You only need to add this once a season and it's a really good way to make sure your plants are getting all the nutrients they need. Next, you want to give your plant a really good soak, and I water from the top for this. You want to make sure all the roots and soil are wet because the roots have just come from hydro. If you put them into a dry environment, they can go into transplant shock. And that's it. I think she looks super cute and it's definitely not as scary as you may think. I've seen lots of guides online that suggest you add soil to the water gradually over a week, but you definitely don't need to do this. If you're wondering what this plant is, it is actually two. I've got a pothos in there and also a Monstera Adansonii. You can definitely bundle clippings of plants together as long as they are on the same watering and light schedule. You can see here that all my plants are in fact in nursery pots and I'm putting them back in their decorative pots after a water. My propagated plant is front and center and doing so well. I've made this transfer about a year ago now and she's growing really well. For the Monstera and the Pothos, I like to water these weekly. I've continued to fertilise seasonally and I'm liking just letting them both hang down. As with most houseplants, they do like a brighter spot and to see the sun. During the summer, this room is fairly sun-drenched, but in winter, none of the rays were reaching over here, so I've added a few little grow lights as well. You are supposed to put these on top of the plant, not under it, but with vining plants like this, it doesn't really matter where the light source is coming from. Both of these plants are fairly resilient to pests, and I haven't had any issues or needed to do any treatments over the past year. I also tend to bottom water, which avoids any fungus gnats. I hadn't realised how much this plant had grown until this clip. You can really see how much she's taken over my bookshelf compared to the first video.